Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the film room. As promised, we are getting into one more film review on this kind of off-season series that I've had, breaking down different film from different players across the Chiefs offense and defense. I guess we kind of leaned heavy on the defense with Leo Chanel, Chamari Connor, and now we have Felix Anudike-Uzomah, better known as FAU to Chiefs Kingdom, number 97. We're reviewing his film today. Also had the Hollywood Brown film breakdown and the Wanya Morris one. So the offensive ones didn't really hit at this point. We'll have to wait a little bit to see what Marquise Brown can really offer to the Chiefs. Obviously in the regular season, looked good. Game one of the preseason, and just kind of wanted to round this series out, basically jumping into the regular season. And here we are in the preseason already, one game in, and I thought the Chiefs looked pretty good. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about the first preseason game. Talked about that on the podcast on Monday, so if you want to hear my thoughts and opinions on that, go check that podcast out from Monday. But getting straight into this film, and I just want to go over some quick stats over FAU from last year. Had 240 total snaps, 224 of those were from the D-line, one from the box, the rest came on special teams. Really highlighting his season was weeks 3, 4, and 18 were the most snap counts he got. 25 in week 3, 24 in week 4, and 61, of course, with the backups playing in week 18 in LA against the Chargers. He got 7 snaps, and he made them count in the Super Bowl, as we will have a play from the Super Bowl here. Overall grade, 52.1. This is PFF grading. 47.7 on the run defense. And the pass rush, 52.3. That was in 149 snaps pass rushing, 54 snaps on run defense. So we are going to start with that run defense right here. Checking out a play from the Broncos game in Denver, and Felix is just kind of going to get lost on this counter play. And this was earlier in the season. So we got FAU here. I think midpoint of the season. I cannot think for the life of me when we played the Broncos on the road. So you're just going to get a motion here across. That's going to set the block here. And essentially, boom, boom, he's just going to cut out on this play. And really, Felix, what he needs to do is kind of set this edge, kind of contain this out here. And we'll see what happens on the film here. Obviously, you kind of saw it just a minute ago, but this is a much better angle, kind of showing how he just gets lost in this counter play. And he immediately, I mean, even looking where his head is at on that play, I mean, he's looking at the running back here, or looking at the play developing, essentially. Sees the handoff, and then immediately turns his head into this block. And, I mean, if he would have just stayed put out there, which Trent McDuffie does his best to get out there, and Mike Edwards makes a great tackle. But just not able, you really want your edge to set that on the outside right there. So just missed it. That's the start of it. His run grade is obviously worse than his pass rushing grade, and, I mean, the Chiefs drafted him for pass rushing. So right here, he's kind of just going to get forced to the outside and kind of stayed out there. This is a pass rushing attempt right here for FAU. And really just kind of bad hand fighting. Like, he needs to be more explosive there, I think, essentially, because the left tackle is able to just get both of his hands out. He does swipe both hands away, but then there's nothing after that. He gives the lineman time to reset and isn't able to do anything. So you got a little bit of pressure coming from the other side, I think, from Karlaftis there. But, I mean, just as you're watching this, I mean, again, gets the hands off of him, gives him way too much time to get the hands back. Russell Wilson has a wide open lane to the other side. And so this is more of what we're going to want to see. And FAU had a really good night against the Jaguars, I thought, personally. There was a few times where he showed a lot, and this right here just shows the speed. FAU has got some really good speed and really good agility to get to the level to be a really good pass rusher, I think. He's obviously got plenty of developing to do, but I do think we could see him really take a jump this year. That's great. Just the way he gets around the linemen. It's a lot better rep than the first one he had because he's actually able to hand fight enough and then make a move. Because that's what happened to him earlier where, we'll just go back to it real quick. And, he just never makes a move. And this is from the same game a little bit later on. And the difference here, gets the initial, gets the hands away, but then makes a move to get around him. It shows great speed right there. Big play for the Broncos, but FAU did his job there. All right, so now getting into this Chargers game. Now this one was interesting, and this is some Spags stuff right here, where Spags is really kind of getting in his bag because FAU right here is going to drop. Fakes the rush, pops back out, and goes into coverage. And you've seen Spags put a lot of different guys in coverage. This is FAU right here. And I think that's fascinating to see what FAU could do in coverage because he has shown some real glimpses of speed. And, nothing doing too much here, but just the fact that they did put him in coverage and the fact that he didn't really just hang out there. He wasn't trying to spy. He knew what his assignment was to cover, and he had nothing to cover. And, you got to guard receivers, not zones. So he turns around and just kind of looks at where the play's going. Obviously, quarterback starts to roll out as well. So he's just kind of looking for anybody that he can take out across the middle, of the passing lanes. And, does a good job, in my opinion, of just kind of staying. It's kind of what I pointed out with Shamari Connor, where he just stayed moving at all times, and which is great to see. This one right here, FAU just fights through, makes a great tackle, and I think this is a great play to just show, there's raw ability there for FAU that I think that he could showcase at some point. And he's still got plenty of time to work. You still have Mike Dana. You've got George Karlaftis on the other side. He's got guys in front of him, and right there, just a great play. Again, fights through the block, and I think time is on FAU's side. Block is obviously by the running back, so it's not the most difficult thing in the world to get through, but he does fight through it, makes the tackle, and now we get to the Super Bowl. This right here is the play of the year for FAU. And I think also, I remember during the game seeing 97 pop up and thinking, that's crazy that he even got to see the field. I think that also shows kind of the coaching staff because he got 7 snaps in this game and he made it work. He showed why he should have got those brief 7 snaps. But I do think it shows the coaching staff and Spags and this team what they think that this kid could do and the potential of what he has. He just breaks free right here and makes a huge tackle for loss in the biggest game of the year. And at this point, a rookie in this game, which, the Chiefs have had plenty of rookies in Super Bowls last year with McDuffie and those guys that came in, but just blows right through and makes the play. That's what I kind of put the emphasis on because it wasn't like it was, the protection was all sorts of messed up. And I don't really know where they miss here. I think they're worried about Turk Wharton. The guard's going to go over and help with the center to double team. And the center kind of stays in the middle to almost help with 92 in the middle. And it's Malik Herring. So they pretty much got the number 2 defensive line in at this point. But that right tackle just, he absolutely blows his assignment. I don't know what he was doing. Because, he's watching him the whole way. I think he just expected FAU to go out here to the outside. I think this is what he's expecting FAU to do because he sees this run's going to come out past the guard. And he just shoots the gap. Again, a lot of potential. And ends up making the tackle on Christian McCaffrey, which isn't the easiest thing to do. So the fact he finished the play in the Super Bowl, I think, adds to it. Obviously, it was an easy open field tackle, but just the fact that he finished it on that stage against a guy that could have won the MVP last year, on the cover of Madden this year. Again, you're under the bright lights of the Super Bowl, and you're a rookie out of K-State. So I loved this pick in a sense of knowing that they had the room and the opportunity to develop FAU. That I think, by next year probably could be a very good asset on the defensive line and be a good pass rusher. And I'm not expecting him to be, like the best pass rusher in the league, but I do think there's some raw talent there, and, what FAU will be able to become in this Spags defense. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you smash that subscribe button. We're on the road to 300 subscribers. We're going to hit it before opening night. That's the plan. So again, if you enjoyed the video and watched to the end, smash that subscribe button for me as we're on the road to 300. Hit the bell and smash that like button as well if you enjoyed it. Again, this is the last one of my off-season player breakdowns. Got more film coming from the first preseason game already. Very excited for that. Excited for the season. And we got a lot to talk about. Podcast on Mondays, of course, 3 p.m. Central Time. Papa Shrono's podcast, that's available wherever you want to get your podcast, Apple podcast as well as Spotify, right here on YouTube as well. And we will see you next time we get back in the film room.